Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to the Raising Dion After Show. We're talking everything episode 5. Welcome to BIona. We hope you survived the experience. We definitely survived, but we're definitely creeped out. Stay tuned to find out why.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, everyone. How are we doing today, ladies?
Doing good.
Oh my God, this was an episode. We finally have some answers. I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm your host, Karla, and I'm joined by my amazing panel here. To my left, I have K. Montgomery resident Sammy Haney Stan.
Yeah.
And to my other left, I have Suzie G. She is the biggest Michael Jordan fan, but I think I am, girl. So we might be competing on that.
for that one.
Today we're going to be talking about Kat and Nicole, the powers that we now know that it isn't only Dion that has. It's quite a few people. The lab, BIona, and we're going to get into some news and gossip, sweetest moments, and wrap up with some predictions. But before we do all of that, what were our overall thoughts, ladies?
Oh, man, it kind of was a shocker. We got an introduction of 2 new characters that we've never seen before.
Yes.
We know there were other people from the situation that happened, but we got to meet one. So that was probably for me like, what?
Yeah.
I had been waiting to break into this BIona Lab and see what is going on in there. So I'm finally so excited that we get a glimpse of kind of a little bit
What
more
is
about
going
like
on?
the engineer-scientist relationship there.
I agree, because when I was watching the prior episodes as well, I was like, something about the boss is so off. Like, completely. So that just leads me to think that what's going on behind closed doors in the lab and all of that is even worse. And I feel like she won't let poor Pat in. Like, he just wants to be a part of the inner circle, and they will not let him in at all. It's so sad. All right, but let's jump right in, ladies. We have Kat and Nicole as our first topic.
Yes.
So that dynamic is really interesting to me. I feel like she has to be the older sister, right? I don't know if they have clarified it for us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, they did, yeah.
But I get like mixed feelings about her. She's a little judgy, comes off a little strong. Well, actually very strong. But then you see this really nurturing, caring side of her. Do you think she's coming from a good place, or is there like a better approach she can probably have to her little sister, Nicole?
I mean, I come from that same dynamic.
Really?
I'm the younger sister and I have an older sister, and our relationship is exactly like that. And I think that kind of Kat kind of says it, like, I care more about you than anyone in this world. So I think just that line, you know, she does care, but she is a little judgy towards her little sister. And I think that's just kind of part of that relationship that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I love her. From the first moment she was on screen, she's a sister that has it together, honey. You are not a black woman and a doctor without having it together, honey. So she has it together, and she has already said who was at your practices, taking you here, taking you there, going to your rehearsals. So she's really, I feel like, been there for her sister. And when you have a younger sister and you have to kind of be a mom, almost a pseudo mom, it seems like is what she's been for most of her sister's life. Then of course she's going to continue to, like she said, quote unquote, overstep, because that's what she's been doing her entire life. And I mean, we love Nicole, but Nicole can't get her kid. I mean, she can't even get to work on time. So she really don't have it together. This sister has it together, and she's going to be a little bit judgy and I think it just is par for the course in that relationship.
I think she forgets to keep in mind that she just lost her husband.
Right.
Like, how does anyone keep it together in that sort of situation, you know?
right.
So I think for me, Kat, like, yeah, she's amazing. The fact that she's a doctor, you know, she clearly has a strong personality. You can tell she holds it down.
Right.
But I
Right.
think it's like you have to remember to be a little sympathetic, because, you know, you don't know what it's like to like really walk in their shoes. So I'm the younger sister as well. So like watching her kind of I'm just like, oh, be nicer, please. Like, she doesn't deserve
Right.
that.
Well, I'm a younger sister too, so I understand. And I mean, really, losing Michael B. Jordan / Mark would be really tough. But let's remember what Pat said about her to Mark. He said she's a mess, right? Like, she's a hot mess. So she's always kind of been, I think she's the dancer. She's probably a little bit flightier, you know, a little bit artsier, and that's gonna have a certain rub.
And even kind of going back, you now know that Pat's been involved in their life. He knows Kat really well. And you almost see in the scene that he's a little bit petrified of Kat, too. When they're talking about, like, the Lego and the wall, he's kind of creeping in on telling her how it came. But
that's true.
He's almost nervous of her, too.
I think we all are. I don't want to get in trouble by her either. Do you guys? So, I mean, I also get the impression that I feel like she's probably always, been a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But I feel like, yeah, their dynamic is cute. I'm curious to see if there's ever going to get a point where Kat believes her. Because I feel like she thinks she's, like, Nicole's such a child and, like, such a mess that what she's saying about Dion and his powers, like, she doesn't believe her at all. And it's like, there's a Lego all the way up there. How does that get up there?
Right.
Like, what is the explanation?
Is she going to show her? Like, but when is she going to prove it? Like...
That's true. She hasn't really gotten a chance to see it, but I would assume she might probably be afraid to. That just adds another layer on why Kat can probably judge her,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking, again, my sister's such a hot mess that she thinks that her son is a superhero. Like, I think she just has, like, washed it out of her mind that that's not even something that could even occur.
I think if she did show her, Kat is the kind of person that would want to be super responsible. Like, let's get him to a lab. Let's get people to check him out. All the stuff that we don't really want to do. So I kind of understand her not pushing it and not showing it to her sister quite yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys get the impression that Nicole is kind of not like a failure? That's a little harsh, but like she's maybe the black sheep of the family. Did you notice how like she kind of called her out for her past mistakes? Yes. I was like, oh my God.
Right. Like never, dropping out of college, not holding down a job. So all those little things, like definitely the little sister that's kind of, I think, kind of what you said, the more creative, artsy versus the older sister that has it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume their family dynamic is probably pretty strict from the way that Kat speaks of their family, her, and all of that. I would hate to be a part of that.
Yeah, like she's not even in with the main family anymore because she was like she doesn't talk to the mom and the dad and stuff anymore. I was like, ooh.
And then when she mentioned like that they cut her off, at first I felt like it was just financially, but now that we're talking, I'm kind of feeling like they cut her off completely.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of something that I want to know more of because that definitely makes for the reasons why Nicole is the way she is and probably why it's so hard to have lost her husband.
That's true.
Like, who does she depend on? For now, it just seems like it's Kat, and I would hate for that to be my only support system.
Well, she has Pat.
That's also a mess. Pat, Kat, they all are a little off. It's funny. But before we jump into our next topic, Suzie has a very special message for all our viewers.
Well, we just want to say here at AfterBuzz, if you are watching us live on YouTube right now, make sure you subscribe to our channel and also comment. If you're on iTunes, leave us 5 stars. Make sure you follow us at AfterBuzz TV across all of our channels, and you guys comment because all of us hosts here, we love doing what we do for you super fans, and we want to answer all of your questions.
Thank you so much, and a big shout out to Keven and Maria. Thank you for making all of this possible. You guys are amazing. So, their powers. The episode starts off with, so we have the man. His name is Walter, from what we looked up, because I don't remember hearing his name one time. So it's Walter and Braden. Okay. And at first, for some reason, I thought the little boy was the little boy that was bullying him in the previous episode, but that's not the case. It's a totally different little boy. They have powers as well. So now I'm beginning to think that they're part of the dozen people who experienced the whole like light thing that changed everybody. He has powers, and we see that throughout this episode. And along with that, we see Pat trying to come up with an explanation for Dion's powers. Do you guys think his idea of what it is pretty accurate? Like the nature and the ions?
Well, I think now that Pat understands what happened up there and him being there and not getting the powers because he wasn't outside to experience it, I think he really kind of took the time to think about it. And I thought what he said about the ions to Dion was not spot on, but I think although Dion didn't understand it very much.
I hardly understood it. I was like, what is being said right now?
I think he broke it down in a way that he felt it really occurred, that they had these electrical ions that came from this storm. So I think in his engineering scientific brain that it was a great explanation.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting because from the beginning when we see Walter, his first interaction with the powers was with the soil.
Yes.
So it makes sense. And then when they were at the cabin and the storm happened and then Mark's figure appeared along with other people, what I find very confusing is why the storm wants to kill these people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big question.
Yes, like what is this? And it's kind of funny. The thunder actually looks like a man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, the lightning
Yes.
does. It reminds me. Speaking of the Stranger Things references that we get every
Yes.
time Pat's phone rings, he has that Stranger Things ringtone, which is really interesting. It reminded me of the kind of the monster in the sky that we see in Stranger Things, and which is also a Netflix
Right.
show. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and then when she goes to the girl, the little nerdy girl,
I love all the really fun nerds in this. There's some great
Right.
nerds in this show.
so many. I was like, do we take what she's saying seriously right now? So I didn't at first, and then she referenced that there was like one in Guatemala, Cuba, and
Yes.
everywhere else. So I was like, how many people are there
Right.
really with all of these powers?
Well, because she kind of starts out, she's a kooky character, you could say. You know,
Hilarious.
she makes the Illuminati reference, and then starts going off about seeing like a prince on a pancake, and you're like, what is this girl? You know, Nicole's just shaking her head, and then boom, she, you know, references this lightning guy, and you kind of want to believe her a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I definitely believe her. There's just so many what ifs to the situation. Another really interesting thing was now we see Dion getting control of his powers.
Yes.
So do you think it's his emotions that really control his powers, or maybe the watch? You know, what do you think it is that controls his powers?
Yeah, I think definitely there was a part where Pat's character says, the more you control your feelings, the more you control your powers. And I think that's absolutely true, because we find that even in the end when he wants to kind of cheer his mom up, he brings all the lights, and that's a power usage. And I thought also what blew my mind away, because we see him levitate things all the time, and you know, but when he healed the animal in the lab, I was like, wait a minute, like this is totally different from anything that he has ever done with his powers. So I felt like he felt compassion for the animal. I'm not even sure he knew what he wanted to do. It's almost like he feels it, like he felt, I want to heal and help this animal. And then his hand started to glow, you know, and then the animal was healed. So I feel like most of the things are controlled through his feelings. Yeah.
And he's learning that he has so many layers to these superpowers, and in each episode we're seeing something new. And I think just like that, we're like, wow, he can heal people, he can heal animals. And I mean, he shut down the entire city's power.
I love that now whatever he wants to do, he basically can. Yeah. He got Pat out of trouble. He stole the little hermit. But what I actually love the most, though, is that he does everything with the best intentions. Like, that little boy has the best heart. I feel like if Michael B. Jordan actually had a son, they look alike.
Yes.
He's adorable. I'm just like, I die every time. But I feel like what's really interesting is that these powers seem to be very good for society, or they could be if people were to actually be open to people having them. But from the looks of the lab, it's trying to be like controlled or even hidden.
And what I want to know, kind of, we see the lab, you know, they're tracking these people. How much do they know? You know, we kind of haven't gotten there yet. I mean, in my mind, you saw Lars in the episode, one of the scientists. He gave Dion a quick glance.
Yeah.
And it was not a good glance. Like, he knew that there was something with Dion. So I'm wondering what they really know there.
Yeah. Could they be behind because he said we know the weather and we do things with the weather. Could they be behind the lightning monster, the lightning guy or whatever, and they're following people to try and test their powers or see what they could do to fight against them or fight the monster they've created? Or I don't know. Monster what else could we call it? The lightning. Well, the nerdy girl called it lightning guy.
I call him lightning guy.
I like that. He's the lightning guy,
storm.
everyone. That's what we're naming him. No, yeah, that was really, it's weird because the lab itself, or like the whole company, seems like it's supposed to serve a really good purpose. I love the fact that there's a company dedicated to helping fix the problems we've, put upon Mother Nature.
Right.
And then, too good.
But it's like, it's like bum,
devious.
bum, bum. Whenever there's a superhero anything, there's always like a devious lab behind it. They just want you to come in so they could study you, and then they're just gonna like take your powers or torture you or whatever.
I mean, we don't even know what they did to this little crab guy. What does he call him? His name again?
Oh, Pinchy. Oh, Pinchy. I want a Pinchy now. That's how cute Pinchy was.
Pinchy starts to glow, and everyone's wondering, does Pinchy have superhero powers, or is Pinchy gonna do something? I mean, it glows.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting little animal.
When Susan came in and looked in the case, that was just like the funniest thing to me. Her face. I knew she was gonna say, "Where is Pinchy?" I was like, "Oh, they're gonna get in so much trouble because Pinchy is missing." Yeah, that was hilarious.
The little wolf. I'm gonna say it's a wolf, right? The little white wolf. When he had that like scab on him, so they're clearly testing on these animals. But then they're from Iceland. It said on the little monitor. So was everyone that was around like affected by this? You know, that's really interesting.
And how was Pat affected? Because remember, at the top of the show, he's having migraines.
You know what?
True.
I don't believe that he's not affected. I mean, we'll save that for predictions.
Yes,
but
agreed.
I think something is up with him because I feel like he instinctually is becoming Dion's mentor. But I feel like because he was there and while trying to help Dion, he's gonna like his own powers, his own stuff is gonna come out. Because why are you sick? It's weird.
Yeah, there's something there from being in that storm. I think the migraine thing. And again, I love this show because they just have these quick one-liners or these quick little pieces. And you got to catch them and those little glances. And I think you're onto something there.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely gonna get good. I feel it. So now that we're talking about the lab so much, so BIona, the name of the episode, we hope you survived the experience. Everyone survived. We survived.
We did.
I just think we have a lot of questions. First one being, what do we think of the boss, Suzanne? That's Suzanne.
She is a tough cookie.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just tell. I mean, I would not want to cross her path. She does not seem like she is a nice lady at all.
She was really sweet with Dion, though.
She was.
But she hates Pat.
Not.
She hates Pat. That's what's so funny about her and Pat's relationship. He always seems to stick his foot in his mouth when she's around and says like the most ridiculous things. And she has no sense of humor with him whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's the worst.
Great.
Like, I'm like, we saw her smile with Dion. Like, she was really sweet to him, but then right when she walked, apparently now was her office, the room with all the screens. She's like, why are you in here? I was like, Pat, you literally do it to yourself.
He does.
You don't walk into someone's office and expect to be greeted with a warm hug.
That's a good point.
He's so goofy.
So goofy, but it makes his character just so great.
Oh, I love his character so much.
No, yeah, he's the best. But BIona, I feel like she has her circle of people. You can tell, the people that like walk really close to her, and they're just as serious as she is.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that none of them smile either?
I mean, she got a big business to, they trying to kill people with a lightning monster. They have, I don't know.
But they all have that like scientific seriousness that they are like not kidding around, and you can just see it. And she's leading the pack on that one.
Yeah. She's a head chick in charge, so she's got to be.
What do you think is her purpose to keep Pat so distant?
There's something to me that she must have liked about Mark because she is so loving to Dion and was so welcoming and took him on that tour. And so for me, I think that something must have happened as to why she is not a fan of Pat, because she clearly doesn't like him. So I think that there's more layers in that we might see evolving in the next episodes.
I think it might be just also he noses around too much. Like you said, Pat, you do it to yourself, The first or second episode, he was like, hey, I know I'm just an engineer, but I've been working on this and I have a proposal and I was working so close with Mark's stuff. And she's like, listen, she wants all of that stuff buried. She does not need anybody digging into that anymore. They're tagging people. They're doing stuff to animals, She wants all of that stuff to go away, and he just keeps trying to bring it back up. So, yeah.
I think she totally probably thinks that Pat and Dion had something to do with breaking in the lab. I mean, that hasn't come up, but with you saying that and his nosing around, I don't know. I wonder if like there's something again more there that she's gonna pick up on.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna put his foot in his mouth again.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's so many possibilities in this. I love it. Or maybe Mark was the first to go. Maybe he knew too much. Pat was his second man. Or like or they worked really closely together. Right. So now she wants to keep Pat as far away as possible because whatever they're doing, it's not good. Right. You can tell. The vibe in that place is creepy. And I feel like Pat has the best intentions, so he would probably definitely put a stop to that.
Yes.
I think the point is to get to their goal. Their goal is not good. I'm going to say it's not good. We don't know this for sure yet, but they don't want Pat near it. And I think Dion's going to help him get there. To whatever, like help him get into whatever the lab is really, really doing.
Right.
Because that's what he basically did this episode, and it was amazing, like shutting off the cameras and helping them get out of there. It was...
Yes. Yeah, I can't believe they got into that. I was just like, don't go in there.
No.
Yeah.
They're little partners in crime now.
Yeah,
they are.
They may be in over their heads, though, for sure.
Oh, they absolutely are. Once again, he just proves to be the bad influence uncle that we like, the fun uncle, but also bad influence.
Well, yet again, they never really told Nicole all that went on that day. They kind of skirted the issue and just said that they stole the hermit crab.
Right.
That's about all she knows.
Yeah.
I felt the same way because when they brought it up, they were kind of glancing at each other, like giving each other eyes, like, what are we really going to say? I'm like, how are you plotting with a little 7-year-old or however old he is? Like, shame on you.
Yes.
You should be saying everything. You could get into big trouble. Both of them could.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Dion, with everything that he's capable of now, like, I don't think BIona would stop from controlling whatever it is they find out. Like, if they have to, I wouldn't say take him out because he's a little boy, but if they have to, like,
would they care? They would. I think they definitely would take him out.
You think so?
I don't think they care.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I agree with you actually, because now at the end of the episode, we see that Walter, like, it seemed like he died, right, in that thunderstorm.
Oh, we don't know.
And the van on his property.
Yeah, what was that about?
That was weird. That was kind of a very interesting, like, did that even have any significant meaning? Or was it just kind of like derailing us? I couldn't figure out, really, to be honest, why that van ever even came.
I think it was meant to, like, when we saw the van, we thought it was BIona. You're like, why would they make it so obvious? Like, you're in the middle of the country in this big black van that no one here probably owns. But I think the people that were in there, then they rolled the windows down. And I was like, there's no way you work for BIona. Right. Like, they were just, like, some crazy young adults.
Or maybe they just had to do surveillance, but they could do whatever they wanted to in the van, but they just had, like, cameras or whatever kind of surveillance. So they were in there doing whatever, smoking whatever, doing whatever.
Going back to, though, I think BIona maybe having more to do with this and knowing kind of, since they're doing weather patterns, like, I just found it so significant that we see Walter, then we see him in the lab, that they're tracking him, and then in the end, the lightning storm comes for him. So for me, all these dots are kind of starting to connect, that there has to be some big part of BIona in this whole entire
for
show.
sure.
Yeah.
I think the people in the van were meant to distract us from, you know, if it would just been the van and people in, like, suits or something super obvious, you know, it would have been too direct. I think they want us to be a little confused, for
that's
sure.
a good point. That's a good point.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to cover, ladies? Something I maybe missed? Or anything you guys noticed in the episode? Did we cover it all?
We got most of it. I mean, I think I'm just on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I want to watch all the rest.
Yeah. I'm excited for Nicole being back at the dance company that she danced at.
agree.
That's pretty. That was a sweet little part to see her kind of reconnect with friends and just be happy. You know, even though she's not doing it in the same capacity, but I think it was just good to see her, you know, just have a little bit of joy, a little moment of joy.
And I think for Nicole, too, I mean, just going back to her and her sister talking, it seems as though dance was probably a huge part of her life. And especially we see that she was like a key dancer, kind of like as she walks in, everybody knows her and they're talking about how great she was. So I think, again, this might help, again, get her into a happy place, being somewhere that gives her a lot of joy.
I think finding a purpose right now is probably really important for her. But talking about sweet moments, I would love to get into a special segment. For this episode, our special segment's going to be the sweetest moment, and we chose that because Dion loves sweets, and his favorite being this one right over here, a little Twix. So what are your sweetest moments, ladies? We'll start with Suzie.
I'm going to go with Nicole and Kat, just because I totally understand that dynamic, and she was nagging on her and just trying to be the best sister to her. But I found it so sweet in the end, because after them kind of bickering and bantering, they look up at the weird Lego that's stuck in the wall and they just kind of have a moment and they just start laughing. And so everything's resolved at the end of it. So she kind of gets on her, but then she's sweet. I think she's just really looking out for her sister.
No, I 100% agree. And for you?
Yeah, I really liked the final scene when Nicole is kind of glancing out the window at the party and everybody's dancing and having fun. And I think Dion picks up that she's feeling a little wistful or, melancholy.
Yes.
And so this is why I think it's the emotions that control his powers.
Right.
Because he got out of bed and he was just concentrating, and I think what he was thinking was, I want to make her happy or want to make her feel better. Right. Because when he opened his eyes, he was like, whoa, like it was surprising to him that it was a bunch of lights.
Yes.
And he asked if she liked it, and she loved it, and then they danced on the bed, which was like a really sweet moment. So like you said, he is a kid that always has great intentions, right? And we're seeing more and more him using his powers in combination with compassion, which is awesome, which makes for a superhero, not a villain, right?
Oh, I love
Agreed.
that.
Yeah, totally agreed.
know what I noticed about that. So as I watch the show, the one thing I can't get out of my head is the fact that Nicole looks like Alicia Keys. Am I the only one?
She looks exactly like Alicia Keys.
They are twins. I think she's just missing some freckles, you know? That is it. But then when they were doing the dancing on the bed with the lights everywhere, it was the Alicia Keys song in the background. I was like, yes, everything I needed. I love
So
Alicia
sweet.
Keys, so I thought it was the sweetest moment. My sweetest moment from this episode was when Nicole was having a bad day with her interviews, and she's talking, and then she's on the phone with Pat, and Pat's giving her the cheesiest, sweetest pep talk, be like, you're Beyonce with wind flowing in your hair, you know, tell them you want dental insurance and walk out of there and strut your stuff. What more can you want from your husband's best friend in a situation like that?
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me think, like, you know, you hope that you build relationships with someone in your life that they'd want to take care of your loved ones like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Pat is a testament to the amazing man Mark probably was.
Right.
That's a good
Pat's
point.
cute. I love him. I want a Pat. We all need a Pat.
I got a Pat, but yeah.
You have a Pat?
I have a Pat.
Aw,
He's
Pat.
real nerdy, girls. He's very nerdy.
We need to meet this Pat of yours. And let's get into some news and gossip, ladies. What do you have for us today?
Nice. So it's very interesting. Dennis Liu, who actually wrote Raising Dion, the comic, is now writing a new comic book and a film by the name of Ling, and it's about a Chinese American teenager who is going to be a superhero.
Oh, that's
She's
awesome.
struggling through high school,
love
so I think
it.
it's just really great.
It's a she? It's a girl?
It's a girl.
Oh, it's a
Love,
girl. Yes, girl
love.
power.
Yes, very girl power. But I love Dennis because I think that he's just really breaking down some of these minorities, kind of doing these, like making these mythical characters that we haven't seen before, and just really breaking down some doors. So I'm so excited to see what Ling is all about.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Sounds amazing. I love, like you said, the fact that minorities are being incorporated. I feel like, I don't know if I want to say it was Crazy Rich Asians, but it's like been so popular now. It's amazing. Like, I love looking at whatever I'm watching and feeling like, you know, that could be any one of us.
Right. And I feel like, especially, well, of course, I'm going to have a plug for Sammy Haney, right? Because I love her. But Esperanza's character, I mean, when have you seen a kid with brittle bone disease, especially a child actor? I mean,
Never.
Samuel L. Jackson came close to portraying that, you know, in the Glass series or whatever. But he's not really a differently abled actor. He was just playing a person.
Right.
But she is a differently able actor playing a differently able actor, which I think is huge.
Yes.
Yeah. And just the diversity we want to see.
No, yeah. When
Yeah.
I was watching the episode and she first came on screen, I was like, wow. And she's smart, and she's witty, and she's feisty.
She is feisty. She's so
Love
sassy.
it. She's hilarious. And she's like, he's the best. Like, we're best friends, but he doesn't know it yet. I was like, okay, girl, let him know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, this episode was definitely a lot. We got, I feel like, so many answers, but we still have so much to clearly, you know,
Right.
learn and see what's going to happen. What are some of our predictions, ladies?
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
What do you think? Well, I'm gonna say at some point they're gonna rock out to another R&B diva. We've got Mary J. Blige in like the second episode.
100%.
We got Alicia Keys in this episode. So I'm gonna say a little Janelle Monáe or Faith Evans
yes,
next
give it to
episode,
us.
rock out type of situation. That's my music prediction.
I think we're gonna see more people dying.
Do you think Walter's gonna die? Do you think Walter
Or more
is it
people
over?
getting taken by the lightning guy.
Okay.
Since we've seen Walter go away, now I'm worried about Dion.
Yeah.
We saw that little clip again of Lars, the scientist, who looked at him, and I was like, whoa, he knows. He knows something's going on. So I'm interested to see what happens with all these people with superpowers.
Yeah.
I think Kat is finally going to see Dion's powers. I also think that Suzanne's gonna catch Pat. If not catch him, for sure be suspicious and maybe put like a tail person on him. Those are my two main predictions. Because there's no way they were so close to the door and she's not gonna notice.
Oh yeah, and she
Right.
said I'm gonna get all the cameras and all of that. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, where can people find you, Suzie, on social media?
You guys can find me at Suzie G Styles.
And where can they find you, Kay?
On Instagram, you can find me at It's Kahaila, ITS, KAHALIA, and then at Twitter at Kahaila M, KAHALIAM.
Love it. And you can find me, Karla Contreras, on Instagram at Karla L. Contreras and Twitter at Karla_C. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.